Welcome. Just to make sure that you can hear me, could you pop in the chat if you can hear me and also if you can see my screen? You're welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Today, we'll be talking all about the United States of America. We'll be talking about move to the United States, to the US as a global talent. Please pop in the chat just to make sure you can hear me. Welcome. We're just allowing 1 or 2 more minutes to allow others that are in the waiting room get into the room. Also, pop in the chat just to let me know that you can see my screen. We're talking today about move to the US as a global talent. You're welcome to this edition of eMigr8 Open Day. Our coach for the day is already in the room, in the person of Ekunda Ayeni. Thank you so much for joining us. And we've promised that this is very informative. eMigr8 is all about tech-enabled visa opportunities. eMigr8 is all about tech-enabled visa pathways to relocation and settlement. At eMigr8, we talk about different countries, the US, the UK, Canada, France, and several others. And today we will be focusing on the US. Just to give a bit of a rundown of what we'll be doing, we will be starting by just a bit of an introduction into what eMigr8 is and what eMigr8 is not. Then we'll get into the core of our session for today, which is around how you, as a global talent, even if you're a beginner, how you can plan to move to the US as a global talent. Right after that, we will come to a session of question and answers because we know that you would have a lot of questions for our coach today around this particular topic, or you may have questions for eMigr8 team generally around tech-enabled visa pathways. If you wait till the end of this session, we've got a bonus for you if you wait till the end of this session. And so I would advise that you do because we promise that it is actually worth your while. But also we have the eMigr8 Open Consultation session, which we will be talking about. And recently we launched a campaign around move in 3 to 6 months, even if you're an absolute beginner in tech, to the UK, that is, even if you're an absolute beginner, meaning that you have 0 days of experience in tech, but even better if you have many more days, years of experience in tech, even better, but you can actually move within a 3 to 6 months period to the UK. We will talk a bit about that as well during the session today. So as you can see, the session is very packed. Our focus is going to be the US. Our focus is going to be how you can move to the US as a global talent. And we have an individual that the US has endorsed as an individual with extraordinary ability in the room who will be handholding us on this journey. We'll just say that from an eMigr8 perspective, we've spoken with and we've shared a lot of information with different coaches and different guests who have shared their journey, who different countries of the world have said they are globally attractive, and they've gone on to do big things in the industry, in the ecosystem, and in the different countries of the world in which they've moved to. We've also had sessions, and many of these are to eMigr8 community. And if you're a member of eMigr8 community, you get all these for free. Today would be around learn to move to the US as well. In coming editions, we'll be speaking about the UK Tech Nation visa. Our next edition will be focusing on the UK Tech Nation visa. We would also be focusing on the UK Startup visa and the French Tech visa as well in some of the upcoming editions of eMigr8 Open Day. So as I said, what is eMigr8? eMigr8 is designed to help you become globally attractive. That's our main focus at eMigr8. I will start by just explaining that many countries of the world have realized that talent is the new oil. Many countries of the world have realized that the way for them to keep growing and growing their economy is to bring people who can help them grow their economy from anywhere where they are, anywhere in the world. And that is where many of the visa pathways that we talk about today, particularly for people in tech, that is where they come in. Some of these visa pathways, like the ones we'll be talking about today, are not only for people in tech, but at eMigr8, for now, we focus fully on tech and tech-enabled pathway. So at eMigr8, we help you become globally attractive so that you have options, many options of many different countries of the world that will want you. In terms of globally attractive, we focus on either a tech-enabled profile, which is you as an individual being endorsed, or a tech-enabled business, meaning that your startup or your business actually gives you a visa for you to move to your destination country. As I mentioned before, we focus on the UK, the US, Canada, France, and several other countries of the world as well. The visa itself is only a side effect of this objective. And so these visas are available. Something we advise our community members to do is to think long term. Yes, you want to get a visa. Yes, you want to move from your own country to a destination country, but you will still need to earn income. You will still need to do many things. You will still need to create employment and several other things in your destination country. And so you should think about it as a journey, a long-term journey, not from a short-term perspective. But these visa pathways are available. These visa pathways are available today for you, even if you're a beginner in the field of technology. And this is where eMigr8 services comes in. eMigr8 operates a freemium model, meaning we do a lot of things for free, the same way you would use Gmail and so on. But then we do have some premium services that you pay for as well. Many of the things you would need are things that you would get for free. Many of the things you need to start with, you can get for free. But yes, we do have some premium offerings as well in eMigr8, just to make that clear. And so what does our service cover? It covers things like information sessions. It covers things like general inquiry. It covers things like coaching, because we have a lot of different eMigr8 coaches within our network that are able to handhold you for any one of the pathways that you're interested in. It covers things like preliminary assessment to say, do I already qualify, or how long could it take me for me to qualify? It also covers if you need a self-directed roadmap to say, oh, just give me 1 hour, 2 hours so that I know all the things I need to do. And then I can go away and get those things done within a period of time. Also, if you need a roadmap or you need handholding to actually also become globally attractive, eMigr8 services are available for you. For example, with the UK Global Talent Visa, if you need help with someone reviewing your UK Global Talent application, eMigr8 services are available for that. In fact, you can get that part of that for free. Also, if you need help with an endorsement review process as well, eMigr8 services are available for that as well. In terms of our services, as I mentioned, we operate a freemium model. So we do many things for free, and then we do have some things that are premium as well. On the free side, we cover information and inspiration, because we've discovered that many people don't even recognize that they do qualify for some of these pathways that we are talking about. Many people, even in terms of being in this session right now, you're already wondering when we say, oh, global talent, individual with extraordinary ability, can they be talking about me? The answer is yes, they are talking about you, because you can qualify for this visa. And the way we see it from an eMigr8 perspective is that, yes, you can qualify today, depending on where you are, depending on your status. But yes, it may take you 2 months, it may take you 3 months, it may take you 6 months, 1 year, maximum 2 years, but you can qualify for many of these visa pathways that we talk about at eMigr8. And there are visa pathways that we will be talking about today as well. That being said, we do have premium offerings as well. So we have the eMigr8 Circle, we have personalized coaching, and several others. You can see this on the screen. We have the eMigr8 Open Consultation on the free side, and we do have the short inquiry session. For now, we can only do 1 short inquiry session per person at this point in time for free. What that means is that we would ask that before you come for a short inquiry session, take a look at all the other things that are available for free, the introductory videos, the eMigr8 Open Day, and several other things like that, the office hours, and so on. So by the time you are doing a short inquiry session, which is free. You are making the best use of the coach's time, and you are making the best use of your time as well. On the premium side, if you need additional services and so on, that is also available in eMigr8. If you're interested in any of this, you can go to the URL on the screen, beancom.net/eMigr8, and you can then find out more about many of these services. At eMigr8, we are also building a community of people who are interested in these tech-enabled visa pathways. We call it the eMigr8 community. And with the eMigr8 community, you would meet other people as well who are interested in some of these different pathways. As I mentioned, we are focused for now on tech and tech-enabled visa pathways. We are on WhatsApp, we're on Telegram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, and we're also on YouTube. You can find eMigr8 community, and we ask that you engage with us, like, share, comment, and tell other people as well that these things are available and these things are available today. Wherever you are in your own country, whether it's Nigeria or Ghana or Kenya or South Africa, wherever it is that you are in the world that you are listening to us and you are joining this session today, it's important that you realize that many people around you don't even know that some of these opportunities exist. And that's why we've created eMigr8 to help solve that challenge and help bridge the gap. And so you can be your brother's keeper by inviting them and sharing some of this information that we share within the eMigr8 community as well with these people in your network. eMigr8 is currently incubated by a company called Beancom Dev Center. And within Beancom Dev Center, we do have quite a number of other services as well, some of which may be interesting to some of us on this session. Before we jump into our focus for today, which is around the move to the US as a global talent, I will just tell you about some of those. We have the Beancom Global Tech Program. And with the Beancom Global Tech Program, it focuses on 3 key pillars: learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure in the field of technology. If you're a beginner in the field of technology, we do recommend this program to you because it will help you get everything that you need in terms of being a force to reckon with, globally attractive in the field of technology. But also, if you're at intermediate level and you realize that, oh, you need the right combination of experience and exposure. If you are Captain Local Host, you don't have the right credentials, you don't have the right projects in your portfolio, this program is also fantastic for you. It gets better. The company is able to invest in you, and we are able to say, learn tech now, pay later. What that means is that the fee for the program, you only start paying most of it at the end of the program when you start earning high income in the field of technology. If you're interested in that, the link is beancom.net/globaltech. You can take a look at it. For those of us that are highly experienced in the field of tech, you'll find out that one of the ways you can show yourself as globally attractive as an experienced person is by mentoring. You'll find out that for many of the countries of the world, they are interested in you mentoring in a formal platform. And this is what the Beancom mentoring platform is. We are open and we are calling for mentors because we have many people in our network who are looking for mentors just as you, 10 years of experience, 15 years of experience. Come mentor with us and it becomes part of your reference point to show that you are globally attractive. We also have Labs by Beancom. This helps you to build a product-led digital technology with a team of people. It's a 3 to 6 month program. And what happens is you are paired with other people who are also interested in creating a startup from scratch. The only key thing with this startup is that it cannot just be practice projects. Whatever solution that you build must be used by real life users. And there's an entire program that is able to help you with practical learning, with opportunity to build your portfolio, opportunity to improve your career, and to improve your profile as a techie as well. Labs by Beancom is available, and you can find the link at beancom.net/labs. The last one I'll talk about is only available for now for people interested in the UK. But we are building very quickly to be able to have this available in many other countries of the world. It's called the Headhunter Service. And what we do is we help you land your next role faster. It's tech employment and recruiting services for individual. We help you build the relevant experience in your target country. One of the funny things you'll find out when you move to your host country is that for you to get the roles that you want, you need to have experience in that host country. And that is part of what the Headhunter service is able to solve for you in a very interesting way. We also help with connection with tech recruiters. We also help with coaching in terms of what your profile should look like for you to be able to land high-paying roles in the field. We also help with being able to get what is called the certificate of sponsorship. So you would understand that if, particularly for the UK, and this is available at beacon.net/headhunter. For many of us, this is probably one of the slides you want to take a screenshot of, because this shows you some of the tech-enabled visa pathways that are available from all over the world. Take a screenshot of this. Today, we are focused on the US, but just to say that in the UK, in Canada, in France, all over Europe, many forward-thinking countries of the world have made different visa opportunities available for you as a talent. This is not a list of all visas available. In fact, it's not even a list of all tech-enabled visa opportunities available. But if you're hearing about some of these for the first time, this is a good place to start. Put each one of these keywords into Google and start looking at the different requirements. The lowest common denominator for all these visa types is that be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you would have options. You can pick and choose where you want to. Some of our coaches were able to say, oh, they didn't like America, and so they decided to move to Germany. They didn't like UK, so they decided to move to Australia, and so on, because they have options. And that's what we want you to be as a member of eMigr8 community, globally attractive, and so you can choose from all over the world. But today, we are focused on the US. Also, if you say you don't yet qualify, and that is possible for some visa pathways, something that you probably want to think about is what are the things that you should be doing right now so that you can qualify in the shortest possible time. And these are some of the information that we share in this session for the different countries of the world. Today, as I mentioned, we will be focused on the US. But we would also say that we do have a campaign at eMigr8 around the move to the UK in 3 to 6 months. This campaign focuses on the UK startup visa and the UK Innovator visa. We do have a full session on this, so I will not bore you with all the details, but just to mention that it is cheaper than the student route. You can start working in the UK from day one of you moving to the UK full-time, unlike the student route. And this is not the global talent visa. So in case you do not yet qualify for the global talent visa and you want to move quickly, you may want to talk to eMigr8 around the UK startup or UK Innovator visa, depending on what stage of your career you are. The key gates is around finding an endorsing body to endorse you and your idea or your startup, and eMigr8 can help with that. Also, for eMigr8 community members, which I believe many of us here are, we are currently running a campaign for the most engaged eMigr8 community member. What you can do is for you to like, share, comment on different posts eMigr8, invite friends and colleagues to eMigr8, ask questions, and also help answer questions that have been answered within the eMigr8 community, and several things like that. Very important is that we are focused on quality and not quantity of posts. So quality is important, and we're going to be looking at that as well. But yes, you get to win a free coaching session, which is valued at $700 if you become the most engaged community member. It gets better. Last month, we were focused on one winner across all communities. This month, we will be picking one winner from each community, each eMigr8 community. So if you're on LinkedIn, be engaged on the LinkedIn community. If you're on Facebook, be engaged on the Facebook community, and so on. And it could be you. So we've come to why we are in the room. Our coach for today is already here, and our coach is going to be taking over for me. He's a dear friend as well. And thank you so much for being here. I would say that if you have questions, please drop them in the chat. As you can see, some of the links that I've been talking about are already in the chat section. And so if you have questions as well, please drop them in the chat. We will pick as many of these questions as possible. And if we have a bit of time, we may be able to invite some of the people in the audience to come on stage for the eMigr8 open consultation session. Thank you so much for listening. And so, Daya, over to you.
Okay, Bade, thank you for having me this evening. Thank you everyone for having me. Hope we can all hear me. Just say yes somewhere in the...
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so thank you for coming. Thank you for taking your time to make the decision to come in this evening. Although currently I'm in Nigeria, next week I'm off again to the US. So the kind of visa I'm on is not compulsory. I'm in the US for some number of days. So far I'm meeting the conditions required for the visa. And it's a very straightforward visa. I want to share, we all have the background that a lot of things are threatening people in Nigeria, and we're looking for a better life out there, and the dollar rate is increasing. You know, I have a popular example I used to give that if a week before the lockdown or during the lockdown, you had 36 million naira in your hand, and you suddenly change the money to maybe then it was supposed to be $100,000. Or let's say you have $10,000, which was 36 million, 3.6 million. And today you go to the bank and you meet your guy, book you by the road, and you say, change this money for me. You have become almost 30 million naira richer, or 20-something million naira richer. So it just shows that if you're still earning the same amount you're earning in the past 3 years, gradually your money is depreciating. Over 30% of your money is gone in piecemeal. So that's where part of those kind of thoughts were the kind of things that trigger the ability to want to think of leaving the country. I started thinking about it, but because I have vested interest in Nigeria, I'm doing a lot with government, I'm doing a lot in digital marketing. And just to note, I got my invitation and my opportunity more because I was a digital marketer. So the qualification that they used to qualify me was around digital marketing. So anybody can qualify, anybody can qualify. And I can mention names later if there's a need for people who have done it and have crossed over. So very simple process. There are a couple of requirements. If you've never seen it before, if you've never heard of this route before, it's called an O1 visa, an O1. So it's a very straightforward visa. From day one, you know what you're looking for. The first thing I want you to first go and think of is to develop a resume for yourself, which is do a simple CV about yourself that have this following breakdown. The first thing is that do you have any award that is nationally or internationally recognized? Do you have any award that is nationally or internationally recognized? Any award at all. In your space where you play. So if, for example, you're in real estate, you have an award in real estate that speaks nationally or internationally. So if you go online, you hear them talk about Nobel Prize awards and all of that. Your local awards in Nigeria also matter. They can also use your local award as a standard requirement. So, so that does not take out the fact that anytime your award can be used. You get what I'm saying? Anytime. The awards you've received 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2 years ago, last year will be important. So I had an issue with that because I really, if you know me for a long time, I don't take awards. You won't see me on stage shouting, doing award stuff. So when I made the decision about 3 years ago, I started receiving awards. So when people call me, oh, we feel you're doing well, you deserve this award, I took them. So I got about 6-7 awards coming that route, Rotary awards, got one for West Africa Ambassador, got several awards, Best CEO of the Year from Technology Awards, different kind of awards like that. And then that award is very, very important because it's one of the points you can use. So I'll be reading out 12 points. All you need is 3 points, 3 qualifications. So award is one of the qualifications. Now, the second one you need to also do is you need to look for a documentation in a field, like look for membership of an association. So based on what I do, I belong to Institute of Marketing, different kind of institute. So those institutes need to write for you to say that, oh, you're a member of this institute, you're a prestigious member, and there is a way they write all these letters. So the generic letter, even like the generic letters you get for an award, I had to tell them this is how the US government needs it. Because when I threw in my first application, I was told it was not sufficient. So I need to go and get an endorsement for those letters. So I'm not telling you that I just submitted and I disappeared and the whole thing came out. No, I went through and they requested for more evidence. So there is a point where they can ask for more evidence. If you don't qualify, they'll tell you you don't qualify. Now, so the first one is award. The second one is having membership of association. The third thing I will tell you to look for is that, have you judged people's work before? For example, they call you, so I will use, maybe I say a blessing on the line, a blessing on your field, will come and be a judge. Lagos State is doing events, or a tech company is doing an event, or a company. This visa is not strictly for tech people. So you can be a business person, you can be a musician, you can be a producer, you can be anything. You qualify for this. Have they invited you to come and judge people's work before? If you've been invited to come and judge people's work before, then of an essence, you're expected to use that as a documentation. So try to avoid when people just call you and say, Dario Alpha, where are you? Can you come around? My company was doing this small meeting where all of us want to just come together. We are judging people who just finished from our academy. Let them document that process for you. So let them send you a mail, ask you to come based on X, Y, Z. And then when you acknowledge that email too, because all these process are the standard process for anywhere in the world. So that process of they send you a mail, you acknowledge, and then when you finish doing the judge, it's your friend though, they need to also send you a thank you letter. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you for coming. You see, that whole process is a qualification process. It's as simple as that, but there are ways those letters are also expected to be written. So I'm just giving you that's another simple qualification you can have. Another qualification they may be asking for is that, have you done publication in a major trade magazine, maybe in your field? For example, in Nigeria now, maybe in real estate again, and they say in Castle. Castle is a recognized national So those are, hello, did you lose me at some point?
We lost you at the point where you were talking about Castle. So
okay, so
yeah, but you're back now.
Okay, so for example, Castle is a nationally recognized newspaper. Some other newspapers that shows you or publication, not newspaper now, publications that are for maybe industry specific publications or some sort of high network magazines that you need to be in. You need to be published physically and then maybe online for good distribution. Then there is a flip to that publication also. So you need to be seen in the regular national newspapers of your organization. LinkedIn publication does not qualify. So you need to be seen in like a Business Day, Vanguard, and be seen, and there is a way the subject title calls it. So for example, if you go and Google my name now, you will see Ayene Kundayo, digital marketing expert. So they need to call you an expert because the countries that want to take you in, especially United States want to take you in, they see you as a professional. So I qualify for Australia, the tech enabled one for Australia. I qualify for Tech Nation for UK. So I can tell you, because of the options that I have, that's why I picked United States. So for United States, they expect that you're an expert. That's why they want to take you in. That's why they say you have exceptional ability. That's why they're bringing you in. Now, when you're done with that, then you need to also show if you've done any products, any product. So all these conditions I'm listing, you only need to qualify for 3. So if, for example, you have enough publication in the newspaper, for example, I have over 400 links in the newspaper. At the time I was printing out my evidences for visa interview, I had over 1,000 pages of things they wrote about me from the internet and from all my crew. So I can tell you for free, these things are easy. So I have over 300 links on the internet that talks about me on the internet. So some are replica, some people just look at me and then they give me 3 or 4 publications, the same thing across board, but the subject matter and the conversations were totally different. I got featured on Yahoo Finance, Yahoo News, all those things. I was everywhere because initially I used to run away, but because I had this in view, I had to commit to that. Now, another thing is, have you built any product before? So a couple of years ago, I was jokingly and just out of thoughts, out of adventures, I said to my friends or my staff then that let's build a mailing platform. So we decided to build this email marketing platform that looks like MailChimp, where you can send bulk emails. Funny enough, a company bought it off us, and then I built another one that I was just using for internal consumption for my office strictly. That alone was an evidence that I built something that was genuine. So some people will build dating app, will build different kind of things. It still makes you qualify. It's another evidence. Seeing the number of people who have used your product or download your product was also very important. Now, another thing is you need to have published a book if you have that option. Publish at least 1 or 2 books, show evidence that people downloaded the book. Your book is published on Amazon, people have written review and all of that. That also is sufficient as an evidence that your book had gone into several publications and all of that. Now, I would mention the last 2. So the last 2, which includes evidence you were hired in a strategic position. So we're doing some projects with a state at the time, and the governor was interested in what we're doing, and the SSA in charge of that whole project invited us over to come and do the project with her. We did some job with her. It was just pure business. It wasn't something too strange. Before you know what's happening, that was sufficient evidence also that we're hired in a strategic position to come and work for government. Now, because of the nature of what I also do, I do reputation management for some top people in Nigeria, making sure they're good and all of that online. I got invited by these people on some letters. We know that is a wonderful guy. They gave me a letter saying that I'm working for them in a strategic position. If you've been hired by a church, by gang, by government, by an office, by a group or something on a strategic role, put it there. It's enough evidence for you. That is another point of evidence for you. For example, they invited you to come and revamp a whole maybe TV station. It's enough evidence for you to put in there. There is this maybe critical organization that changes, like maybe Red Cross in Nigeria had issues, and you're the one who helped them through that process, and they can write a letter for you how you did it. That's enough. The last one, which is evidence of high salary. So if you have a salary or a letter, employment letter that has that evidence that you're earning high salary, you're good, you're fine. They will put you out there. That's the only letter you need to submit. One letter is even sufficient for that one. That, okay, my salary is 5 million, it's 6 million, it's 7 million. Out of all these conditions I just listed now, all you need. Also, somebody just asked minimum amount. Minimum amount typically is like 4 to 5 million. So your salary, because in the US, anything below $25,000 yearly is categorized as very poor. You're like below the line, the poverty line thing. So if you're like between that point, like 7 to like 50, 60, the average income, Then when you cross to anything above that to 100 or something, they now consider that you are earning properly, you're earning well, because by the time you say, okay, I'm earning 120, and after taxes, you still go with like 7,000 or 8,000. By the time they remove just maybe 1,005 for your accommodation and the remaining maybe 2,500 or something, you still have a savings of like $4,000-5,000. So to them, they believe you are earning high. So if you're on this call and you're earning that kind of salary, you already have a point you already qualify for. Now, out of the whole evidences I've just listed now, which is from the awards to publication in newspaper belonging to association and international affiliations, you've developed a product before, you've published a scholastic document before, maybe some people have published journals and all of that before. All of those are there. You have evidence of being hired in a strategic position. You have evidence that you are earning high salary. Any of these three awards, anything, if you meet award, media, and high salary, you're good. They would give you this visa. Now, the visa is not a visa that you go to the embassy here and you go and apply. No. What you need to do with this visa is that, you know, you're submitting evidence. It's like you're trying to qualify for something. So you send them all the evidence. So there are people who are assessors who will sit, mark, and make sure you meet that qualification, because when you're submitting, you have to submit to a lawyer that will write a petition. Like my first set of petition that I submitted was about 720 something pages, 29 pages. The books are published before, links about me online, product I've developed and all of that. By the time they asked for more evidence, I had to submit almost another 400 pages, and more evidence was like 60 days. So I'm just giving you all of this so that you know that it's easy to do and it's also a bit complex. Like the awards, I submitted almost 12 awards. I was submitting where, because I sit on a couple of boards, I sit on almost 15 boards as a person of organizations, fintech and all of that, non-profits. I sit on the board, and all those things were not sufficient. They didn't consider those things as evidence. That you sit on the board of a company in Nigeria is not an evidence. But that you were recognized in your field and was given an award is more important to them than sitting on the board of maybe First Bank. So to them, it doesn't add up because of the way they view things on their own side. So that's why I said some things are there that may not look normal to you. For example, I am an MTN premium user. So because of the volume of calls and data I use in a month, MTN put me on a particular class. The mail MTN sent to me that I sent to them, they even still consider it as more, because they can, you know, there's a way MTN calling the letter out of our subscriber, you are this, you are that, you are this. These people still looked at that as more important stuff than the one than being on the board of the company. So, Sola, will answer your question shortly so that I don't lose my thoughts track. So let me just summarize.
And there will be time for question and answer, Dario. Just keep going. We would have time for question and answers. But if you have a question, please drop it in the chat. We will take questions in the chat and from the different communities before we can get on the open consultation session. Please go ahead, Dario.
So that was another evidence. Like simple MTN letter was as important. It was more important than a board membership approval that they said, oh, as a board member, you sit 2 times in the quarter, you're going to have this, you're going to have that, all the benefit. They didn't even look at that. Now, there was a time I was lecturing in Mountaintop University. I just, you know, I went to so I used to speak in Mountain of Fire, maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, or speak in their churches. And I was invited by the school to come and just be taking Friday lectures and teach their children, the kids, digital marketing. So I did it as an hobby. So I even realized that they will have allocation of like 5,000 naira they were supposed to give to me every time I go, just to cover my fault, to show how simple it was. And at the end of the semester, it's a 1 unit course. So I finished and I left. You see, that whole process of lecturing and scoring their papers was enough evidence for these guys, as it were. That means that I've assessed people, I've lectured people, I've assessed people, and I've given them points. That was enough evidence as a judge So those things may look very small, but they are all those your small experiences. You went to speak at an event is enough evidence. If you're a motivational speaker, because by the time they qualify you, you need an itinerary. Now, all of these are the framework. Now, the other things that now needs to be clear so that you understand it. You need to have a registered company in the United States, which comes at a fee. It's a company that is filing for you as a petitioner, that they are bringing you from Nigeria or from any part of the world to come and work as the MD or CEO of that company, as an expert for their own company. So it's the company you register. If you understand the company laws, your company is an entity and you're an entity. So it's your company that is filing for you in this case. So when they are giving you the visa, it's your company they're giving the visa, but you are the one who owns the company. So it's like when you register a business in Nigeria, it's an enterprise. This is your business, this is you. You are the same thing in the eye of the law. That is how they see the kind of company that you're registering there. In Nigeria, you would have to have an evidence that you're employed in your company here. And then you also need to have evidence that that company in the United States, when you finish your company registration, you are still the one writing the letter for yourself, that your company there is inviting you to come and work for them. They understand that process. It's an open distance. So it's clear. It's a simple parameter there. Now, that is the two sides to it. Now, if you're married, let me now give some addendum to the, if you're married. So your spouse, which is your husband or your wife, would have a category called O3. You are O1. Your spouse will have O3. Now, what happens is the O3 person can come to United States, live in the United States, do everything like you do, but the person is not expected to pick up work because they see you as an expert. They believe you're good, you're rich. That's why you're coming to their country. That's the perspective. So when you come, the O3 is not expected to work. That's where your child, your spouse, everybody in your family belongs to. Not extended family, just your immediate nuclear family. So you can't put your mother, your father on it. It's just your wife or your husband and your kids. And they must be below 21. So that's the consideration for that particular set of people. When you get your O1, you also qualify to have a social security number. So it means that the same way you see people go to United States, people go through the back door. The only thing they keep doing all those arranged marriage and all of that for, do all kind of scams for, is because they want to have social security number. So when you qualify for O1 visa, you automatically have a social security number that you can use to work. If you register a company also in the United States, you have what they call the EIN, Employer's Identification Number. That number also qualifies you for, it's like your tax ID. So that is what your company uses. You can need to do several things. It looks like your social security, but they go hand in hand. So also note those two things. So that means also that after you've stayed in the United States for about a year and you keep doing the things, one of these things are just all the 12 now, you just prove any of the three again, you can graduate into becoming an EB1 holder, like a green card holder, full green card holder, but that's not a conversation for this call yet. Maybe when people have signed up, we'll now tell them within 1 year you can get your green card. So let's not go into that conversation. But for the sake of this preparatory process, you don't necessarily have to have everything before you start the process. All you need to do is, what I first did was to go inside my email and I created a folder for every proof that I'm about to submit, which is about 12 of them. Letters of recommendation from people who know you, who recognize, who have worked with you, who have seen your work, like big people in your field. Maybe if you know Dangote can write for you. If you know anybody, it doesn't have to be Dangote though. If you know a CEO of a company, Bade is CEO too, so everybody can write for you. So you need those kind of letter to endorse you. Then there are people who have worked with you, who are like your colleagues, who are like your friends, who have witnessed your work. They will also write an endorsement letter for you. Then you also need an endorsement letter from people you have supervised or have used your work before. So like people who have used my mailing platform, my email marketing platform before, they wrote letters for me. About 4 of them wrote and said, this guy's platform is wonderful and all of that, to whom may be consigned. And there is a pattern to that letter. The lawyers will make all of that available for you when you're ready for that. Now, when you've done all of this, then you submit If you're doing expedited, you need to pay extra about $1,000 plus extra. Expedited, within 2 weeks, you have your result. Some people did it once and they got it. I didn't do my application. I didn't get it on the first week. I qualified for just one and they were asking for 2 more evidences because others were not sufficient. Although you qualify to a point like 50% or 60%, but you need to add more evidence so that they are convinced. So by the time I did more evidence within 60 days, I was given. Less than 2 weeks, I was given the visa. Now you just book visa appointment and you go to the embassy. All their own is to do is to stamp because they are not the ones who looked at, if you're doing B1, B2 interview, normal visa interview, they just ask you some questions. Have you been to the United States before? Have you traveled? Where have you been to? All of that. The person can just decide and say, we're not giving you. This time around, you already have a letter of approval from the United States government. That is a unit that is that handles it. That I've sent you a letter. All you need to get is your booking date here. Your date is faster than all this one. They tell you that it's in 2 years' time, you'll see date. Theirs is within 30 days, you get a date. They will tell you, if I go on the platform now and I go under my category, in the next 30 days, there is a date waiting for me. Even 3 days ago, I was trying to book for somebody. Okay, that was 3 days ago, the day before yesterday. Yesterday was an available date. So it was just 24 hours to get the date. That's how easy the date is. So it's not like B1, B2 that you have to go and stay there and be looking for a way to get things. Like I see somebody join with Association of Professional Food. You qualify for this thing. This person who is there, if people are members of the association, can qualify. So these are things, they are open, they are there. And I just want to encourage that if you're willing and you're prepared for all this journey, it's very easy. You come to United States. Certainly in the United States, it's very easy. I can show you pathways when you get to United States. This is how you buy a car. This is how to get a house. This is where your children, your children will be going to free school. So note that behind your mind. Your children are going to free school. So the visa is valid for 3 years. Then after 3 years, you will do renewal again using the same conditions. But if you know how to reprove your evidence within 1 year plus, you get your visa, you move to a better visa. And it's not compulsory you live in the United States. It's not compulsory you stay in the US for any length. So note that as part of your application. Be a bit rigorous. So in the next 2-3 months, you can be in the United States if you have 3 of those conditions. So I think I should stop there so that we can have a lot of interactive.
Wow, thank you so much. That was a lot that you packed into that couple of minutes. That was a whole lot, and I know that there are several questions already. I see a bunch of them on the chat, but I wanted to ask something that I see in the community and also here, which is that this doesn't seem like a beginner friendly pathway. So I mean, if I'm just 1 year experience, I can't probably qualify for this. So what would you say beginners should be doing for the benefit of the beginners in the room so that they don't leave before the session ends, and then we'll now focus on the people ready to apply?
Okay, so it took me 3 years. I've been, Buddy, we've known for a long time. So should I let one cut out of the bag? You know that part?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, so it's been my friend for as long as you can. As long as I know Lagos, he's been my friend. So, and interestingly, I started 3 years ago. Sorry.
We lost you for a moment there. The last thing we heard is you started 3 years ago.
Okay, so I started 3 years ago and I didn't take the process serious. And before you know what's happening, last year when I started seeing that, I go to Abuja and I hear they are kidnapping people in the neighborhood. I just decided that I would do this thing. So I was going to Kaduna one of those days. I was driving and they called me that I was telling me where I was. I said, that was where they kidnapped people last year. So that kind of thing just made me decide that, okay, I want to do this thing. So I just so as a beginner, you can give yourself 1 year to do this thing. So if you want to do media, how much does it cost me to get on Business Day, Daily Time, Vanguard, all of those? And then all the bloggers are around you. How much does it cost to get on those kind of places? You need to start doing
relationships as well.
Just your relationships, because I've realized that by privilege, I get on TV, on CNN, all those. Anywhere I go to now, it's not because I'm paying somebody to get on TV. It's my friend. I can call now. Baba, I want to be on your show. What do I need to do? And it just happens. I can call now and say, oh, it's your relationship you maximize. Like I remember getting on Vanguard or Business Day. It was relationship. Somebody recommended us from an organization we're working for that we should train Business Day. And after the training, Business Day decided to interview me, 2-page cover stuff. And I remember that title was one day I see a minister of a digital, I can't remember, something digital, sir. Digital economy minister or something. And when Buhari came in, Pantami surfaced. So you can imagine, I just said my own out of how I felt the future would look like. That triggered another set of interviews. This guy can see the future like Nostradamus. Before you know what's happening, I had other interviews. About 7 newspapers interviewed me again. And that's how those things come. So that's one evidence. The next evidence is, do you belong to associations? Are you active in those associations? As a beginner, you're already building a pathway. In 1 year, you can do a lot. You're active in your association. They will write letter for you, and that's it. Award. That one, I don't know how to select award, but if you position very well, people will give you award. If you make, like I know these people are making a lot of noise on social media, that they are calling for all kinds of awards. I don't do noise, but I manage all of those people that do noise. I have a lot of influencers that are working for me. So if I wake up now and I call some of the big boys that you people call influencers, they must pick my call on one day because I give them job. So that's how I do it. So all those guys are another set of people you can take advantage of. So you can start building stuff gradually. It's not an urgent thing if you feel it's too complex for you, but just look at all those lists. You can probably not qualify for maybe high income, but I have a guy on my team who last year was earning 120,000 where we moved into. January this year, he got an international offer. And when I mean an international offer, he got $70K a year job. That guy automatically has qualified for high income. So, and he's just doing front end. So it's your thoughts. But they have some pathways that will train you, put you in this process. And I think it's part of what eMigrat does. And they'll go through the process with you over a year and you qualify for it. So it's not complex. So if you want, they say if you want to eat a big meal or elephant, you have to start cutting it small. There is no way you can put all the elephant in your mouth. Huh? So just start the process and you qualify for it.
Thank you so much for that. Before I go to the questions in the chat, the other one I wanted you to just emphasize is the question of sustained recognition. Because I know there are some people here that would say, oh, I got into the newspaper yesterday, then let me go and apply today. And so maybe you want to deal with that as well, because one of the keywords I know for this visa pathway is around, it needs to be sustained over a period of time. So I don't know if you want to mention a bit on that.
Okay, so there are other ways you can even sustain this. If you do PR, you just go on Google, you'll find, maybe in the US, you'll find organizations who do PR. We also do it as an organization, which you can say, oh, every portal, I'm going to commit 100,000 or 200,000 or 1 million to do PR for myself and my organization. So that you can do in piecemeal. So if I was explaining something to my class people yesterday, so I'm in Nigeria primarily now because of my Lagos Business School stuff. And I was explaining a pathway to some people in my class that if you make a profit of 100,000 naira in your business, why not make a budget that 20% or 10% of it will always go to advertising and PR. So if you make 20 naira, if that's 20 naira, you say 15 naira goes to advert, and then 5 naira goes to go into the media they do for you, and then you sustain it. That is a way you can plan it, because you need to continuously be out there talking. You need to be saying things that are very relevant, things that are going to change the world, that are going to point the world in a new direction. So you find some of these people that are in the US who are talking heavily on social media and trying to be on every channel. That is what they do. And that is why they are talking continuously. So you find some people do Instagram Live, all of those things. because at the end, all those things, they want to formulate it and put it on maybe a newspaper in the US that will help them. For example, I will tell you, let me let one of my cats out of the bag. I intend to go and do big billboard in one city in the US, such that it will be on the major highway. Black guy, Nigerian guy, I'll put my name there and I'll put some things. I won't tell you the things I'll put. Then some of their bosses, the same way they wrap BRT in Nigeria, I'll wrap myself around with my name and everything, and I'll put it there. And then those things that you see them whiskey, they used to put them at 24th Street in New York. I know how much it is. I know how cheap it is. I'll put myself there too. So that when the person even reading my evidence to qualify me for the next stage, look at that, no. We know this guy, we've seen him before. Those are my own guerrilla strategy. But I'm generating income in the US, so I'm able to do some of those things. But it's not as super expensive as you assume. It is even cheaper than wrapping putting some billboard in Lagos. It's like putting advert in Port Harcourt. It's cheap. Some of those.
We lost you for a moment, Dio, but I think we got the gist of it. Welcome back. Yeah, so let's go to some of the questions in the chat, and I will just say to the audience again that if you have questions, first point of call, drop it in the chat. If we have a bit of time, we may be able to invite a few on the open consultation session. Yeah, so a question here says, can this strategic positioning be in the work you do as your paid job? So I think this person is asking around the fact that if I'm an employee, can I qualify for the O1 visa?
Yes, you can qualify if it's a strategic work that is recognized as, okay, so a part of what we did in Benin, for example, was that Benin used to have this perspective that all the ladies were doing some sort of stuff in Italy and all of that. And somehow we got there and we need to change perception. So it's a strategic role. We did the whole thing, but it was when I needed this letter that I now had to reach out to them and say, look, you need to write letter for me and package that thing that we did that time so that people will not be saying, because it's not something that when government is engaging, they will not write there that we have the problem, and that's why they are engaging as a consultant to do something, right? And the person who engaged me wrote the letter. I gave them the format I want it to be, that we've noticed we have this image issue as a state and want it to be improved on and all of that. And then they looked at it and put it on their letterhead and sent it back to me, and I sent it to the US government. So it was more like I came as a consultant to work with them. It wasn't like they hired me as CEO of something. So, but I packaged the experience like that. Let me give you another instance. In the church I used to attend before I got married, I was part of the singles fellowship, and interestingly, singles fellowship was pretty big, almost 500 people were attending that. So I was part of the ESCOs. That was a transformation journey. So when I was packaging it, I didn't write it that so and so church. I didn't put it as a religious. It was a volunteering work to help shaping the mind and this thing towards a beautiful marriage and all of that. So when I wrote the whole package, it was different from when you say they just appoint you. You know how we used to do in church now. God says they'll call some people and then they'll pray for them, and now you are escorts. I package it and they put it on the letterhead for me. So you need to know some of those things look like free work, but it's huge volunteering. It's big to those guys over there.
Thank you for that. And someone is asking around the awards. Is there a minimum number of awards? And I guess just to add to that question would be, what if I don't win Nobel Prize, for example, and all of that? So minimum number, and then does the award have to be a certain size or a certain recognition, or must it be international?
So I would encourage that you do at least 3 or 4 awards, but there is a way your award letter needs to be written. That's the most important part, not just the award. So I got an award showing me something ambassador for West Africa. I can't remember that award name now, but there is this award they used to give a plate number for. And I didn't take it for 2 years. It was early last year. I now considered it, brought the award, took pictures. I didn't put it in the newspaper. But the way the letter was written when I submitted originally. Those people said the award they gave you is not in the category. They didn't give you as a digital marketer. So I had to go and meet them back and say, please write this letter and say, because I've trained over 11,000 people across Africa over the past 13 years, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. That's why you're giving me an award for my impact to the society. So it has to be rewritten. And then there is a pedigree, the people, the judges, how was the award, how did they come about the award? Those things are very important. Are they judges to the award thing? Are they, so they would give you list of items, list of things that you need to put in the letter for the letter to qualify. So, and then the award needs to be nationally recognized. So for something West Africa, and they are telling me I don't even qualify. Meanwhile, awards from association was recognized. So out of maybe XYZ people from Northwest, Southwest, they speak to you and all the process needs to be written in the letter, step by step, the judges, people have received it for all of that. Those are the things they want to see in that letter. Not just that, we like Badeo will see your impact. We want you to come to Eco Hotels on the 5th of December to come and take your award. All those things, right? That's not sufficient. There is a pattern which there's a guide to it. So it's not something I can break down fully here. And then some other people will attach their profile. The person who is giving you award and some of the judges, they will take their profile and attach it to it so that they will know these are credible people. So the thing, that's why I said it's a bit more than just what I can explain. But do 2 or 3 of that, you are good.
Yeah. And someone was asking around, you mentioned the letter from MTN, what category does it fall under? Someone was asking also to say, where can they find a list of all the things to submit? It's online. Everything we're saying, you can find information online. Just Google O1 individual with, how did they say that long word? We just call it global talent in the eMigr8 community now. Right, just Google O1 visa, you will find a lot of information on it online. But yeah, someone is asking around categorizing some of these documents. So your letter from MTN and all of that.
So for example,
do you remember where that fell under?
So like that MTN stuff was seen as recognition, like an endorsement letter, that they recognize that I'm a premium user and all of that. That's where it fell under. For me, it didn't even make sense to me. I just put it in there when I was downloading. I just put it in there, and then the lawyers put it, and then they add it as part of evidence. So it's so silly to me, but it makes sense to the world.
I like that, right? And something to recognize for the audience is also that Dio is an exceptional talent. He had options. We've spoken about the Australia Global Talent. He would qualify. We've spoken about the UK Global Talent. That's Tech Nation visa. He would qualify. And then, of course, he picked the O1 visa. I'm coming to ask a question around why you selected specific countries that you selected, but that's for later in the call. Someone is asking around, what's my starting point? It seems a bit daunting. Where do I start from? I don't have up to these 3 criteria that you are talking about at the moment. So I've seen the 10, and I don't think I have up to 3 of those 10. Where exactly is the starting point for this? I would just say from an eMigr8 perspective that this is one of the visa pathways where we coach you, and we do have coaches within the eMigr8 community, including Dio, that can coach you on this pathway. But Dio, I don't know if you want to jump in terms of where can an average person start from?
So first, just do a CV, then. Do a CV. Have those categories in your CV and see where you have those gaps. Then pick the simplest one that you can solve. I think the simplest one typically is media. You can easily get interview quickly in Nigeria. So talk to Punch, Guardian, any of them. They will tell you the fees. You go in front of the camera, or maybe they come to interview you. Also, there's a dynamic to that. Like, let me give you a clue. If you want some more, we can talk about it when Badi arrange the meeting. So the way it works,
It's not bad deal.
There's
the whole team.
Okay.
So,
what we try to do in that case is to do extensive interview. So an extensive interview is bringing in one media person that understands how to ask questions very well. We ask you elaborate questions, like almost 50 questions. We will put everything together and then point out different stories about you from that. So what will feature on leadership will be different from what will come out in Vanguard. So those are some strategies that may help you rather than go to Punch today, do interview, go to Guardian tomorrow, but there is a way they coordinate some of those things. So you need to, that's the first thing that can be no-brainer. So it's only 3 evidences that you need. So you don't need all the evidence. So like if you've done media and you've seen it, then there are other things that you now do to spread it. Like I told you, I'm on over 300 links. There's a way those things spread. I just noticed yesterday that from projection, when we did some this, I may be going to 700 by the end of the year on 700 channels, websites that they can see me. That if you go, you see that I've done interview there before. So there's a trick to it.
Yeah, so someone is asking that in your experience, is this visa easier than the UK Global Talent Visa? I think I should just take this one. The answer is no. But if you do qualify for the UK Global Talent Visa, it is more than likely that you qualify for the O1 visa.
Yeah, the evidences are like the same.
They are very the same. If you check online and you compare the evidences they're asking for, they are the same. However, for the US route, you will need both a coach and a lawyer, right? Yeah. For the UK Global Talent route, you simply just need a coach. And some people choose to do it themselves, though the likelihood of rejection is higher if you do it yourself, but you can do it yourself. People do it themselves. So let me say that again, sorry, so that it's not like we're marketing. You can apply for the UK Global Talent Visa by yourself, right? But for the US Global Talent Visa,
you can do it yourself, but if you know how to write petition.
If you're a lawyer, right? The only person I know that has done it themselves is a lawyer. I won't mention the name, but that's the only person I know that has done it themselves successfully, that I know of. But yes, you can decide to do it yourself too, but most times you probably need a lawyer and you also need a coach as well. Yeah, so that's for that one. But yeah, Dio, choice of countries. I don't know if you remember why from the other room, why it was US, not UK, not Australia, and all of that in terms of choice. And maybe there's some useful advice you can give to the community as well.
Okay, so first, when I wanted to do technician, I noticed that I need 180 days to be in UK, which is at least an average of 6 months every year. On an average, I should be in the US, in the UK. And because of the nature of the business we do in Nigeria, I can't really go that far away from Nigeria at this time till after elections. So I said to myself, okay, if I'm going to do this thing, UK was so, I even opened the portal to register that I got into a point where they said I should put in my passport. I said to myself, no. So I looked at the conditions, I met all the conditions. I have one of my big Edmond that will wake up in the morning and just call me. He's a military officer, retired. He will just call me. That he introduced me to this thing, and now in the UK, I don't know what you're doing in Nigeria. Will you get your shit together and come and join me in the UK? Then yes, sir, no problem. So I was struggling with it. Then I also had some other bias to the US because my kids and all of that, they had them there and all of that. And then I've done a bit of work in the US. So the thing was doing me more that way. Second, the size of the economy was a choice because you wake up, you dangle rats poison, even on the streets in US, you probably get quick bias. But in the UK, it's a bit stringent, a lot of laws here and there on how to go about it. So that was second issue thought. Then I qualified for Australia because my first degree was mathematics and computer science. And I was supposed to do IELTS and then have a belt of 777 across or 7.5 across all minimum. That was the only thing they needed. And then if you're doing Australia, there is a requirement that you need to get an approval from ECS or something. They have a body
yes.
Yeah, that would do approval for you. I think it's about 120 or 110. You get it done. And once they qualify you, it's like when technician approves you for home country, home office. So once they qualify you, you're gone. Is it that ALTS thing? So interestingly, my wife registered me, and so she said, oh, I said I will postpone. So they called me that Wednesday was my speaking test. I didn't make it. I was doing one transaction and I just looked at it. They don't know that's one money I want to make it. So I waited, So Friday I came back to town. Saturday was the exam. My wife said, let's go and do this. I've not read anything. We went, so I got did the exam. I told them I've not done speaking. So I said I had to come the following week or so. So on the Tuesday I went, I did the speaking. Speaking, I got 8. Everything I passed like 7.5, 7.5. Then it came to writing, I had 6.5. So that just made me, I can't be sitting down to learn this thing because of the whole stress. So that was why I didn't do Australia. Looking at all of that, and then you hear, once you tell somebody Australia, it looks as if they are going to the end of the world. You hear people say, no, that place is too far, it's this, it's that. I studied Australia, I liked it, I liked the weather. By this time of the year, I think it's getting to their own winter now, so it will be for diverse economy. The economy is close to Canadian economy, and it's PR directly. Once you do that one, it's direct PR. You have permanent resident.
We lost you again.
Of that, hello.
We lost you a little bit again, but you're back now. Welcome back.
Okay. So all of that came to play. So it depends on. So because also I just wanted something, US is the place if you want to go. I mean, I'm just giving you. I want to scope you to come my way.
I won't
money from now.
So that we don't start going back and forth. Let's move on, right? But I'll just say I disagree, but let's move on. Yeah, somebody in the community is asking, a digital marketer is asking around for global strategic positioning and also certifications to register for. So I think this is somebody coming up in the field of digital marketing and is wondering that what are the things I can be doing, and how can I become globally relevant, global strategic positioning, as is mentioned in this question.
Okay, so far I've done 42 certifications over the year, so it's more.
Did you say 42?
42.
Okay.
So I've done a couple.
But which kinds of certification? Maybe that would be useful.
So I've done almost everything you can find an HubSpot. I've done everything Google has to offer. I've done Twitter Flight School. I've done a bit of Facebook and all of that. Then I've done some things on Allison. I've done on Udemy, all of those things. They necessarily they don't tie to this kind of visa, but they give you leverage in terms of getting jobs, exposure, your experience, people you meet, classes you've attended. I did some short course in Harvard, gave me exposure to some sort of people. Interestingly, one guy from my class managed all the digital process for the Olympics. Also, the Olympics they did in Brazil. So you can imagine meeting such people. There was a lady, she was head of marketing for Boeing windows. All these their pin they put in the windows to tie the Boeing plane. Those are the people that I now met. When I needed letter of recommendation that I wrote to that place, I need you to write letter for me. So because those things just give you leverage, but not necessarily tied to this visa experience.
All right, sounds good. We're coming towards the open consultation session time now. I will just say that if you would like to come on stage to ask a question, you will need to have your video on, and also you need to raise your hand in Zoom. I see a couple of hands up, but we can't spotlight you if you don't have your video on. So if you'd like to come on the open consultation session, please do that while we take a few more questions from the chat. List of documents you can find online. Must all these evidences be what you have achieved in your own country? What if I live in another country and the impact of what I've done was in this country where I live and not my own country? I don't know if you could speak a bit on that.
Okay, you can use anywhere you are. Your country of residence is what is important, not necessarily your country of origin. So country of residence just even gives you international privileges. So if they're giving you award, in another country, you can say, it's nationally recognized or internationally recognized individual, because the way you write in the media is very important. You can say, I've been recognized internationally beyond the shores of my country. There's even a fashion route to this whole thing, where they even expect that you've done publication in some fashion magazine and all of that. So those are things. So, and it has to be international, either in some countries. So those things can always work. The thing is universal. It's not, they are not just tying you to your country of origin.
All right then. And then one more question here is, the company you must open in the US, will it still be in the same line with the field you are presenting evidence for?
So in the US, the same way, you can add more things even in the US. You can say you're an oil and gas, you're a digital marketer, you're a real estate, yeah, all of these things as a company, and they will still register it for you. Just don't forget that when the taxes come to you, are everything to be taxed.
That's for a different session. Yeah. So we're coming to the open consultation session now, where we'll be having some people come on stage. I'll just remind us that this is a recorded session, so please don't share personal information you don't want to see online on YouTube and so on. And also please be respectful. Second thing is also towards the end of this, we'll be sharing some more information around some of the things that we can help with, particularly from an eMigr8 perspective. So I'm going to be adding to Spotlight now, and you can unmute yourself. How are you doing? You will need to unmute yourself. Okay, you have unmuted.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
All right, then. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. My question is, I have 3 questions. I don't know if I'm permitted to ask the 3 questions. Okay, for example, what if I served in a particular place, maybe for example, a military environment. So maybe my boss gave me an letter of recommendation. On what category is that letter? Is it part of award that is going to qualify me for a visa?
Okay,
you said you had 3 questions. Could you go ahead with the other 2 questions so we answer all together?
Okay, wait, the other question, I think, let me check this thing. Sorry. Okay, the second question is, during my NYC days, I love to volunteer myself, maybe especially on all this based on gender-based violence stuff and all that. We go from one community to another community. So maybe, for example, can I go back to that organization that I volunteer for to give me a letter of recommendation? Is it acceptable, and on what category?
Okay, and the third question?
I'm asking on behalf of someone. Okay, maybe you are a farmer for 10 years. Can such person qualify for this visa? If you are a farmer, like you are an expert in it, you are into agriculture, maybe for example, a cocoa farmer for like 10 years, is that person qualified for this visa stuff? That's my question.
Okay. Dai, I don't know if you want to share on those 3 questions. I'll just remind the community that we at eMigr8, we focus on tech-enabled routes specifically. But yes, if you say you are in agri-tech, then of course that's tech-enabled in a way. Dai, please go ahead.
Okay, so volunteering. Have you done enough volunteering that shows some sort of documentation? Not the NYC one seems a bit like a generic, like for example, somebody who volunteered during COVID.
Okay,
like distribute food, take care of people.
Let him finish. Go ahead, Dai.
Yes. Okay.
Wait.
Yes, I volunteered. Yes, during COVID.
Oh, you volunteered during COVID. So is there a letter?
Oh no, that was during EndSARS. Sorry, during EndSARS. I volunteered.
You want government to come after you. So that one is like a civil course. Yeah, volunteer for a civil course. But that's not sufficient because it's not under a structured environment. So if, for example, all this one feeding children, all those orphanage things are not considered volunteering. If there's a major crisis, maybe Ebola period, you did something, and then Lagos State gives you a letter of recommendation or endorsement, that's sufficient for endorsement. Now, letter from your boss is not sufficient. So it has to be that maybe somebody who has supervised your work before, and the person is a high-level person, because they will require that your boss add his or her own CV, a profile. So they want to see that you've worked in a place where they can endorse you and say, this person has delivered. Maybe they want to take a product to market. If, for example, you work in a bank and you're a part of the team that delivers Start 327 for GT Bank, and they give a letter of endorsement, you know that one is like, oh, this letter is worth it, because they require a lot of, they will check out for how professional, like on our platform, we had over 3 point something million subscribers that put their stuff on our server. So when we did the screenshot and the video and gave them login, they went there and they saw it. They saw that, oh, these guys have a mailing platform that has this volume. We have 13 servers that can push emails. So to them, this is a global product. It makes global sense. So people are using my platform and they don't know I'm the owner. All they do when they pay, I will make money. My server is always running. So you see that category, that's what we're looking at. So if you deliver such products, when you're writing endorsement, people can say, oh, they know you, they can write under that. Then as a farmer, maybe tech farmer would be good, but if you're a regular farmer, there is really nothing to really write about, except you now start doing exceptional things. Maybe you now start inventing, maybe you plant yam on top of the roof, the thing is coming out, and then you now did it in such a way that media carry the news, all those kind of things here. That is when, but if you're a regular farmer, everybody, because they are looking for people with exceptional ability, people who have done outstanding job. That is what it is. So that is.
I would just add that it's human beings that will assess your work. So it's not like a computer or anything like that. So we are not saying fake it till you make it. We are saying that be that exceptional person, but then you may need to also be able to package yourself in a certain way, in addition to the fact that you are that exceptional. Because it's possible that you're exceptional, but people just will not see it. This particular visa pathway as well is not beginner friendly to say that, oh, I have 0 months of experience or something like that, and then I want to jump and apply for the O1 visa. However, it's one of those visas where you can plan for it, you can prepare for it, you can start working towards it because you already know what they're asking for. And so you know that even if you don't qualify today, you may qualify tomorrow. I see another hand up. Francisca, oh, nice. And but we can't spotlight you if you don't have your video on as well. So I'll just go to the chat. Yes, so Dayo, if I get it, can I? Okay, yeah, so someone is asking that, can I go back and rewrite some of these letters as proper evidence? So can I go back to the people that invited me 2 years ago to say, please give me a different letter now, or give me a better letter that covers it?
Because that's what I had to do, because there was an expectation. So I wrote the letter myself and I took it back to them and they did it for me. Once it starts in the dark room.
Yeah, so if you switch on your camera, we'll be able to spotlight you. We just won't see you, but we can't, it's a Zoom feature. We can't spotlight you if you do not switch on your camera. Dayo, we have 3 categories as we're coming to the close of this event. Okay, yeah, I see that. So let's go to Francisca. Francisca is actually one of our coaches on the eMigr8 platform.
Francisca.
Hi, Francisca. Welcome on board. You're on mute if you're speaking. Oh, sorry, I have to unmute you. Okay, cool. You should be able to unmute now.
Hello, Dayo. Americana. Boni.
Fine.
So I think that each time I get upset when people like Dayo make it seem like America is God's own country, whereas the United Kingdom actually God's own country. So, but on a more serious note, I my first experience seeing somebody's O1 visa, there was a client that was applying for Tech Nation. He already got the O1 visa. And when I saw his O1 application, I couldn't believe that it had 450 pages of documents.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like, I know Dio, so I couldn't wrap my head around the amount of information that he would, because when he was doing the process, I thought, oh, okay, well, okay. But after I saw that guy's application, he was successful anyway, but yeah, just decided that no, the US is not for him. He wants to come to the UK and hopefully he should get his endorsement soon. But at the end of the day, the UK, and when we finished his application for the UK Global Talent, it was like 50 pages.
Yeah.
And that's because
We lost you, Francisca. We lost Francisca. Hopefully she'll be back.
I normally insist on people putting up. Can you hear me?
Sorry, Francisca, we lost you for about 20 seconds. So
okay, so I was just saying that doing the comparison between the number of documents, I think some of them were called exhibit or something, petitions or so in that O1 visa. It kind of sounds daunting. So I heard Bade talk about coaching. Where does the people you coach on eMigrat for O1 visa, where would they even start from? If their documentation would be up to 200.
So it's not a 2 month journey, Francisca. It's a 1 to 2 year journey, not a 2 month journey. But go ahead, Daya, as well.
So if, for example, you want to do an O1 visa, usually out of the 10 evidences, the lawyer will tell you to provide the 10, so that when they are picking, they can only pick 3. So that's why usually the evidences are very bulky. Like when I did my media alone, that took almost like 300 pages. The books I've written, when they put everything together, it took another set of another 200 pages. Now, these are not books that are even popularly published. Maybe 1 or 2 are on Amazon. So you will find that those are things that usually occupy the space. But for maybe a Tech Nation, 2-3 media evidences is sufficient. We just wanted enough things to be out there. Like evidence of high salary was only one I submitted from, and it was approved. That was what they ticked. Just 1 page, 1 letter, 1 page. So evidence of strategic hire was 2. 1 for Benin and 1 for one other client to work with. That is difficult to call his name online. And those 2 were evidences that they ticked and my media. Then they now went to awards later to go and see the evidence as okay, sufficient. So you're just asking, so if you have any of this, if I had known that this is all they needed, my evidence would be more than maybe 20 pages. But I needed to put everything such that when they see it, they too know that, okay, we've read, we've gone through documents. So it's just that balance, because the lawyers will push so that in case they don't always, because when they ask for more evidence and you submit and you don't meet the requirements, they are gone. So that means that they'll tell you to reapply and start the process all over again. And they'll tell you the reasons why you didn't qualify. So when they request for more evidence, each part they wrote, so those evidences I submitted that were not sufficient or properly written, they wrote under there for me. So award letters, I submitted like almost 15 awards. I felt, oh, that was how they would take it. But they reviewed and told me what they needed. So when I was submitting award, more evidence for award was maybe 2 or 3 letters. That was all. Letter of recommendation, endorsement, all of those things now came to play.
Yeah. So just before we have like final words from Dio, and Dio, I also like you to speak with the different categories of audience that we have in the room. We've got beginners, we've got intermediates, we've got experts who are probably the ones that are ready to apply. They are the ones that will probably qualify for this visa immediately. And I would like you to share some information to each category of this audience. Just to mention that a lot of information about this visa type is available online. Just Google the O1 visa. You will find the criteria. You will find some of the things that you need to you need to know about it. The O1 visa itself doesn't lead directly to settlement in the US. However, if you qualify for the O1 visa, you are more than likely that you already qualify for the EB1 visa, given a bit more time and giving more sustained national impact. Well, yes, sustained impact as well. And so you may want to Google that. And yes, some of the criteria that I was explaining, and also using his own personal circumstance in terms of what is submitted and how it's submitted and all of that is also available online for you to go look at. Somebody asked around eMigr8 to say, still not clear what eMigr8 can do for me, right? So eMigr8 is a community. eMigr8 is a community that has coaches like Dio, coaches like Francisca, and several others. We're building it as a platform. We're building it as Uber for these sort of things, tech-enabled visa pathways. What does eMigr8 services cover? From information, general inquiry, inspiration, also coaching and handholding to say, oh, fine, if you're already qualified, then what you need is to be able to put all your documents together. If you do not yet already qualify, you may need just a roadmap to say, dear coach, sit with me for an hour, sit with me for 2 hours, and let's build a roadmap of what it is I need to do over the next 1 year, over the next 3 months, over the next 1 month, depending on your circumstance. Maximum we've seen is maybe 2 years, and that means that you have 0 years and 0 months of experience on the get-go. It's work that you will need to do. You will need to do things that are newsworthy so that you can actually be in the news. You will need to speak at events so that people in your industry will know you, and several things like that. But those are things that eMigr8 can work with you on as well. So self-directed roadmap where you go do it yourself, or then handholding where a coach is actually able to handhold you through the process. We also help with technician visa application, for example, if you need help reviewing your application and so on, because we advise that ask someone else to review your application, particularly for the technician visa, but more particularly for even these US global talent route, as we are calling it in eMigr8. And so we can help with that. We run a freemium model. Many things that we do for free. So information, inspiration, the open days, one of which we are here right now. Dio has basically dedicated his time to be able to help you and other members of the community, particularly with the information that you may need to know that, oh, this is a journey that you can start immediately. We do things like the open consultation, and we do have free short inquiry sessions as well. With those short inquiry sessions, we advise that consume everything else that you can get for free. Go and Google, go and read, go and research. But a lot of times with that much information, it may get daunting. You may have questions particular to your own circumstance. And then that is where some of these other things are beneficial to you. And then on the premium side, we do have coaching services, eMigr8 Premium, and a bunch of other things. We have the community, which we are building, and we're building to have more engagement, comments, and to be helpful to people who are interested in the different tech-enabled visa pathways. I mentioned, and I will mention again, the fact that we are working on seeing the most engaged eMigr8 community member, and they start winning access to eMigr8 Circle, which is our premium community. And also you will get access to free coaching services with some of our coaches on the platform. With Bincom Dev Center, we have the Bincom Global Tech Program as well, which helps you to learn tech, learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. You get to learn tech now, and you can pay later. We've got the Bincom Mentoring Platform, a structured mentoring platform. We've got Labs by Bincom, which helps you with building a tech-enabled startup. So if you've never done a startup before, this is something that is almost like a lab, and that's the reason why it has that name, for you to start that journey. And then for the UK, we are able to help you land your next role faster, and that's by a combination of many things. And yes, so those are some of the things that eMigr8 can help with. But our message at eMigr8 is one thing, and is one major thing, which is that be globally attractive. If you are globally attractive, you would have options. Coming back to you, Dio, as we're closing this session today, is we've got different members of the community. So we've been speaking to beginners, and I guess we've spoken a bit also to the people who are experts in the room. But then what about intermediate people? I've got 3 years, 4 years, 6 years experience in tech, and all of that. And I'm wondering, what should I be doing right now? I don't know if you have some specific advice for them.
So I'll say just go check the list, see if you meet 2 or 3 of those conditions. One condition you've met, then give yourself a time frame and say, okay, you're willing to work with eMigr8 to maybe 2 or 3 months down the line. These conditions will be met. They'll guide you through. We'll go through all the process. What do you need to do? Who do you need to talk to? It's more like an open session where, you know, when you want to win a case in court, from my experience, you need to tell the lawyer the truth. Else, your enemies can come with different kind of evidence. If you get to court and then you, why didn't you tell me this? So you need to come that transparent, show that, okay, this is what I have, this is where I have skeleton in my cupboard. This is, so do you want us to kill the cupboard or bury the cupboard or something or burn the cupboard? So all those things, you just have that. Then if you're an expert already, you check, I've met the 3 conditions, then we can talk. eMigr8 will put a session together, we can talk. There's a way the document needs to be arranged, even if you have met the conditions. There's a way the document needs to be arranged. Then there's a part that I didn't mention, O2. O2 allows you to bring people who are working for you in Nigeria to that country, or any country in the world. You can start filing for your COO, your GM, your PA, all of those people, you can bring them to the United States. But it's not something we can discuss elaborately here. So I've talked about O1, O2, O3. O3 is for spouse and family. O2 are for people who work for you. Well, you can decide, I want to bring 10 people along with me so far they meet certain conditions. After you've gone there, you can be bringing people from Nigeria and all of that, but that's not a conversation for the program. So these 3 categories, if you know you're just starting, I'm interested in moving to the United States. Very long ago, I've been going to the United States. I'll have done Jakpa or Temole or do arrange, but I wasn't interested in all those things. There were all kinds of things people were doing. I remember I went one time, people were doing sole job, where they go arrange carton in the night, and they were, I didn't come to come arrange carton. So a lot of things that people do that you will find in the United States. And then, it's difficult to come by $dollars there. Then the people in between, you're interested. US has a large economy. You're interested in the US. You can start looking at, okay, I have one condition that I've done something. Then we can look at other things that can also give you acceleration. You can start looking for big jobs. When you sit down, you look for big jobs, you get 120 a year. You already qualify for high salary, 170K. You already, so those kind of things can give you another acceleration, can jump you. Then hire for a critical distance. Did you build a portal for one of these COVID center? It's a critical role for during the time of crisis. You build somewhere people can check and know if they have COVID or not. All of those things, they are critical things that people take advantage of. So that's like the summary of what I would say.
Thank you so much, Dayo. And then that brings us to the people who are experts, who are not 120,000 naira, it's $120,000 a year. It was saying. Right. But that brings us to the experts who are ready to apply. They've heard some of these things you're talking about and they qualify. I mean, they already know some of the things that they've done. They've looked at the criteria. What would you advise them to be doing?
So outrightly, let them reach out. And then be willing to say, okay, I'm willing to make a commitment and then to make the process work. We'll put together all the documents, we'll look at it together and say, okay, this is good. Then we can approach a lawyer to start developing. And lawyers in less than 1 week or 2, they'll put your document together. If you do the expedited version, in 1 month, you are gone. Your document is done, you get your approval, and then you go and pick date and go and collect stamp.
Fantastic. And somebody is asking, and this is the 5th category as well within the eMigr8 community that we sort of target and also speak to. So someone is on the F1 visa and is looking at, oh, can I qualify for O1? And could you say that again?
He wasn't going to qualify.
You can qualify. And I think the person is asking, how do I show high salary? They mentioned 10 different categories. You only need to show 3. So if high salary is difficult to show, then why don't you pick the other 9? Why are you focused on that one that you are it's going to be very hard for you to show. Our time is far gone. I see one more hand up. I'm so sorry, we won't be able to take that that right now. But Dio, I don't know if you have some final words to the community.
I'll say, look, if you have opportunity, do it. This is a window. It looks like a time when everything is streaming out of Nigeria. People are saying all kind of things. I would share something very quick. So I invested in a property a couple of years ago, and the revenue from the property doesn't matter. But going to invest in property in the US, they pay monthly. It's easy for me to travel anywhere from my rent. So, but in Nigeria, the rent, we're still discussing. You call the person, they will tell you stories sometimes. And you're asking yourself where there are no legalities, where there are no rules. I'm not telling Nigeria does not work, it's work for me, and it's still working for me. I'm doing governance with people, I'm doing policy, I'm working with a lot of politicians. But you want to have maybe a more sane environment. So my son, they send me emails from the school every day, does assessment. If he's playing too much in school, they send me email. Where I told one day an AT&T sent email to everybody in the community, like an estate. I think they are distributing laptops. That we should come to the estate point, come and collect laptop. Nobody has ever even come in and just come and take a charge card in our estate. So these are opportunities everywhere. There is law. There was a day in February, I was in the US, and there was a kidnap in the neighborhood, and we just had Amber Alerts. Everybody's phone, everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So far your phone is on, my Nigerian lines, everything had Amber Alert. The description of the guy to his shoe that he was wearing was in the left. Like they see this guy just kidnapped a baby and all of that. Very interesting in community to live in. Initially, when we got there, my kids used to say that, NEPA, pick that. Now, I was talking to my daughter 2 days ago, and she said, Daddy, why is there no lights? Trying to explain to her that I said, no, there's always lights here. It's you that have problem. So you want to be productive, you want to do things, you just sometimes want to have a change of environment. You want to be in a place where you're properly appreciated. Things you're talking. You find people who live in Nigeria and then they excel out there. There you are, you can't be exceptionally, you can't be this. You don't know, you've not gotten there. The 1,000, I know people are working in the bank years ago, who their salary have not passed 1 million. And depreciation is catching that money. Travel out and see if you won't earn more than that guy. So the cost of living, actually, it's high, but it depends on how you manage yourself and manage your person. So a lot of things that people don't know, or they don't, there's this assumption there's money everywhere in Nigeria. Go and, if there's money everywhere, we won't be on this call now. Yeah, you can just wake up, one politician will call you. How many people have they called? How many times have they called you, come and collect you like that? You think it's easy. So sometimes when they say those things, I just used to laugh. Your healthcare system, a couple of things, a lot of things I can talk about here. That if you don't want to die early, sometimes look at life expectancy now. Look at people who had a train accident. It would have been me on that train now, because I like to go to Kaduna. I like Kaduna. I was going to explore train. But now I can't even go Lagos to Ibadan because I don't know if bandits have approached that area. Those are kind of things in my head. So I'm just asking myself, how real that because you're stressed, go in traffic and come back and see what your life look like. So it's not because I'm telling you to leave Nigeria, but if you have an option, you have the opportunity and you have the ability to do it, I'll tell you do it. And then see when you go there and you come back and you ask yourself, even some of you go for vacation and you come back and then you say, I wish I can go back. From airport, you see that the staircase you're going to enter, that's where you start from. So all the iron that you used to come out of the plane, it's a lot of issues, but well, it's part of life. One time they will tell you America used to be like that, US. But today, since it's better, let's go. I want to live long. That's the thing. I don't want people to be using picture to explain to my children how their dad used to look like because I traveled on Nigerian road, enter Porto and died. No, I want to show, I want to be able to show them I grew up and my great-grandchildren. If that's what it takes, then why not migrate? Trump's dad are the grandparents, were immigrants. Most of the people that run America, their parents are immigrants now. About their style, all of them, Elon Musk, all of them. If it was in Africa, in South Africa, we need to do the kind of car he's doing. So there are a lot of things that when you start saying it, people think, oh, does the environment encourage you, allow you to do it and see what tax will show to you, or if not tax, even road safety, all of them, they are there. Uber struggles with Nigerian government as much as, so let's just keep it like that. So let me not overload the thing, because we all have these experiences and we know what it takes. So
yeah, and then final words from me. I see a question, and I would want to say this again. At eMigr8, we don't want you to pretend to be globally attractive. We want you to be globally attractive, and then you will have options. So I see someone asking, can someone put money inside my account during the process of application and blah, blah,
I don't even need money for this and no proof
in
of
this
fund.
exactly, there's no proof of fund needed. So you want to even start by even researching this pathway. We've spoken a lot within the last couple of minutes that we've been on this session, but the truth is that there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of information out there that you need to take action and go and read about it. There are some questions we couldn't take during this session because these are questions that you can easily Google. We wanted to focus on things that you cannot actually go and search for on Google, people's experiences in taking this particular pathway. And so please bear in mind that eMigr8's focus is be globally attractive. If you're globally attractive, you would have options, and then you can decide to say, oh, it's America, it's the US, it's the UK, and so on, that you want to move to. That I was talking about the decision for the family, for his family and for his child, and so on. And we had different reasons why people from the different communities and the different countries that eMigr8 operates in right now are looking at relocating. The other thing I will mention is take action. We've spoken about a lot of things, but the truth is that if you do not do anything with the information, then it's just wasted information at the end of the day, because nothing will change. There are actions that you probably need to do right now. For some people, it's a case of, oh, I don't know anything about this visa pathway, so let me go and do my research. You need to spend 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours doing research on the pathway. Watch videos, watch this video again, listen to some things that were said and some things that were not said, and then start from there. For some people, you already qualify, and then what you probably want to start doing is that, oh, okay, fine, what are the things I have? Oh, where is that letter of invitation that they didn't send to me, but I just showed up? Can I start gathering some of these evidences again, and so on? Ask for help, right? It's ask for help as much as possible. Talk to people who also know things about this pathway. They could be friends, they could be coaches on eMigr8 platform. It doesn't matter, but the key point is that take action, because if you don't, the information itself is wasted. You may not qualify today, but you can work your way towards qualification over a period of time. For some people, that period of time may be 1 week. For some people, it may be 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, maybe 1 to 2 years. But the key point is that you can start taking deliberate steps to becoming globally attractive. At eMigr8, we don't just focus on the US O1 visa. As I had mentioned at the beginning of this session, we've talked about different visa pathways from all over the world. For now, eMigr8 is focused on just tech-enabled visa pathways. That's what we focus on, but from different countries of the world. We've talked about Germany, we've talked about Australia, we focus a lot on the UK technician visa, we've talked about the US O1 visa, we've talked about the US EB1 visa as well in previous eMigr8 sessions. We've talked about the graduate student route in the US and several other routes that are available to you. And all these routes are available to you because you are a talent, and many countries of the world are looking for talents just like you. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us for this session of eMigr8 Open Day. As I mentioned earlier, we do have something for members of our eMigr8 community. For the most engaged eMigr8 community member for this month, we are awarding 1 free coaching session, which is worth $700. And so what we ask you to do is engage, engage. Invite people, reply to messages, make comments, ask questions, all of those kind of things. And all of those will count towards you qualifying as the most engaged eMigr8 community member. And with that said, thank you so much, everyone. Dayo, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. And I'm sure that we would be having more conversations from the members of the community as well. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely rest of the day.